This week, some wide receivers on the move. Major League Baseball playoffs are a dream come true. The four best teams, Rip reacts, and a former NFL defensive end, Aldon Smith. Let's go.
This episode of One Star Recruits is brought to you by 500level.com. Niners fans, big game against the Chiefs on Sunday. Go get your Niners shirts, Brock Purdy, Jordan Mason cartoon shirts, your guy George Kittle, mystery shirts for $10. 500level.com. Use the discount code DK and RIP at checkout for 20% off everything. That's DKANDRIP. 500level.com. Let's go.
Yo, what's up? This is Aldon Smith, and I'm on with the One Star Recruits.
Yo, aloha. Welcome to the podcast. Checking in at 79 degrees in Kalaheo, Hawaii. Breaking news, Rip. Congratulations to the city of Atlanta for locking up that 2028 Super Bowl bid. Congratulations, Atlanta. Like you said, 500 level, Rip. Big Chiefs game coming up. Get ready, Atlanta 2028, to watch Patty Mahomes go for probably his 7th ring, most likely. What up, Big Rip? Birthday week. What's your favorite thing about Atlanta?
It's the home of Chick-fil-A. That's all I got. I know I'm a big Chick-fil-A guy. Tried the banana cream shake the other day. We talked about it last week. And yeah, big milkshake guy, big Chick-fil-A guy. Home of Chick-fil-A.
Milkshaking all over the place. Atlanta, a lot of offense going down. Yeah, bring the Super Bowl out there. The host always, every year, they're involved in one of the major events. Didn't see our hometown of Phoenix, Arizona hit that list. Glendale, Arizona, for that matter. They're working a lot of stuff out, Rip, I think, about the sports climate and infrastructure in our hometown, the Valley of the Sun in Phoenix. Nobody cares about Phoenix, though, right now. Congrats, Atlanta. I don't even think anybody cares about that. 2028, hot off the presses. What people care about is that Josh Allen got a real wideout. He got a real one. And a real number one wide receiver. Poor guy having to throw the rock to Matt Hollins, Rip. And the disaster of a rookie from Florida State. Keon, big expectations for you. Can't find space in the NFL as easily, huh, bro? It's hard. It's harder. But damn, bro, Josh Allen has been just like I suspected when we were drafting for fantasy draft, Rip, in Laughlin, Nevada. We knew Josh Allen was going to be a huge component to the team that is successful because he's going to have to do it all by himself. We're actually seeing that in one of our fantasy drafts. He's 5-0 now. He's probably going to win the whole championship, Rip, because of that Josh Allen pick. Holding down his squad. You agree?
He's the number one fantasy quarterback for sure. And yeah, it's only going to make him stronger. I just can't wait. You see what Stephon Diggs is doing down in Houston. What about that playoff matchup? We're headed toward Houston versus Buffalo, wherever that game's at. Stephon Diggs revenge game versus the Bills. They just had it a few weeks ago, but I mean, the Chiefs are going to be there for sure. But if you see a Buffalo-Houston game with Amari Cooper versus Stephon Diggs, they got rid of Diggs and brought in Cooper. They could have kept Diggs.
Cooper's been on the move, man. He seems to be a hot or cold type guy, but Brandon Beane gets it done. And we didn't even say Amari Cooper. Yeah, welcome to the Bills. This is much bigger news than the second trade we're going to talk about, which is dominating the cycle a little bit more as we're talking about this. It's hot off the presses, Rip. It's all hitting us at once in the face right now. But Brandon Beane, congratulations. Hand clap that man. This was not as much as desperation because Josh Allen is good enough to get things done anyway, but something had to happen there to get some real talent. And this is the guy. This is the guy, I think, the right move. The offering, the trade, not so bad. Compensation, if you will. 2025 third round pick, 2026 7th round pick. Okay. In return, Amari Cooper possibly saved this whole season. Bills had to give up a 2025 6th round draft pick. I don't understand the NFL draft picks late. Seems like high value in trade market, Rip, low value on the field. I may be missing that completely, but thank God the Bills got a number one. What a void that it's been there since. You mentioned it. Diggs got traded. It's bigger than the Jets news for a couple reasons. First and foremost, at this stage of his career, and you can argue with me, Rip, if I'm wrong in saying this, Amari Cooper is a better wideout than Devontae Adams. True or false?
I'm gonna go false on that one. Devontae is top 10 for sure. Amari's probably top 15, top 20, but There's only so many guys that can completely take over a game, and I think Devontae's one of those. I'm not sure Cooper's one of those. He's probably like if you're in the NBA, he's probably a third or fourth option. But he's going to be good in Buffalo. He's going to be good on the right team.
Winston has some numbers up for me. There's more games played for Cooper. He's caught more balls. You're right. You're right, Rip. I think it's coin toss. This is going to be an argument for the next 2 weeks and the next month. Is Amari Cooper better than Devonta Adams? Now they have a chance to show it in these new environments. Who cares about that argument? Even better for the Bills at this stage. He's way cheaper and less of a headache than Adams is going to be. You think Adams is going to find a house in New Jersey, in Hoboken, with a Taco Bell in it, Rip? He's going to be pissed off. He's just a bigger handful of a player. Cooper's coming into Buffalo for only $807,000. Seems crazy cheap for the NFL. 807K.
And he's not a diva at all. I mean, little ego, just humble, soft-spoken guy. Not to shit on Devontae Adams, because he seems like a good dude too if you watch that show Receiver. But I mean, who can blame the guy for wanting to get out of Vegas? The Raiders are awful.
Yeah, Cooper's base salary all the way down to 1.2 for this season. So takes him down to that number. Cooper, he's 30. So getting up there, so is Adams. 24 receptions for 250 yards so far. And he gets to get the hell out of Cleveland. 5-time Pro Bowler, man. Get out of here. He's got to be so happy to get away from Deshaun Watson and go from Deshaun Watson to Josh Allen. How happy is Amari Cooper en route to upstate New York right now as we speak? He's going from the worst I can't say the worst quarterback. There's been so much bad quarterback play. Top 5 worst quarterbacks in Deshaun Watson. Just human, body language, vibe, everything that matters in a work culture that is successful over to in Buffalo, an embrace culture with leadership in place, a young team that actually needs a guy like this to come in and make a difference. Difference maker, take this season from what could be mediocre to great. Could. They have to have Cook healthy, and the defense has to find some heart. I'm going to talk about some other trades down the line here too. Nevertheless, Rip, how happy is this man?
Really, the bottom line is Amari Cooper is going from one of the worst teams in the NFL to a surefire playoff team in the Bills, whereas Devontae Adams going from the Raiders to the Jets. I mean, what's the difference? 4 or 5 wins. The Jets aren't going to make the playoffs. He's still going to be sitting at home in January.
You nailed it. I had early info on this one, Rip. You saw the text messages. I don't have to. I'm not no cap in here. Devontae was spotted at JFK Airport by a 1-star recruit's source. Somebody who works there.
I'll tell you something. When you sent that text message, I think it was during the Bills-Jets game, all your text said was Adams to Jets. I was like, okay. I heard that before. So I got on Twitter to see if I could confirm it. I found nothing but rumors. I almost wrote back, stop spreading rumors, DK, but you had it. 12 hours later, Devontae Adams was traded to the Jets. What happened?
Beauty of the podcast. I had a source. I'm telling you, a source got that text came through, hit me all the way out here in Hawaii. I didn't even care that much though, because it's just another old guy that wants to go relive the glory years. We've seen this movie before. We've seen this. This is Bad Boys 2. This is the second movie. We've seen this before, and it doesn't end well. We get it, Aaron. We get it. You like to throw the ball to the back shoulder and lead people behind them. We get it. That's your move. The rest of the NFL also gets it. You're on tape, bro. You're on tape. And you know what? If you're not doing that, you're leading these guys right into concussions down the middle of the field and then blaming them. Devontae Adams is not the answer. You need a new offensive line. You're concussing your dudes. Mike Williams, currently on the trading block, by the way, now, real fast. In fact, I think the Jets, here's some more breaking news, Rip. Available now, Mike Williams. Kansas City Chiefs, stay tuned. Stay tuned. You heard it here first. 1-star recruits. Back to Aaron Rodgers, though. The toddler is running the house. The toddler is running the house in New York. Thank you, Woody. Thank you, Woody, for being a man and getting Saleh out. But now you got to clean up this mess, and we'll give it 2 to 3 weeks, Rip. But if they don't win fast, and if they come out and lose 2 in a row, I don't even know what else you do here. You got to cut Rodgers at some point in time. It's him. It's him, bro. you have any takes on this, Rip? Anything else to say about the Jets or the Bills trade before I move on? Because I have a peeve about the NFL. I have to get off my chest.
I'll get to you in a second. I want to hear this peeve, but my only take is that you've done a complete 180 on Aaron Rodgers. You were in love with the guy the last 2 years. You wouldn't say anything bad about him. Now you're calling him a toddler and saying he's the problem. I love it. You've come to the right side of this argument. I love the Aaron Rodgers hate from you.
Yeah, he's not accepting who he is as he gracefully ages, like Joe Flacco. He's accepted it. He's accepted being a 6 now. You're not a 10 anymore. Your body can't be a 10, and you can't act like that. Football is now bigger than 2 players, and we'll see how it all plays out. It'll be exciting, though. I'm on your side. I need help, though, with this peeve. You can explain it to me. Winston, get this up. Winston is so sweet. He has all these numbers for me on Devontae Adams versus Amari Cooper, and I didn't even use any of them. I just am talking hyperbole. 1-star podcast, bro. Thank you, Winston, for supplying me with that stuff. Pull this up, though, for me, Winston, if you can. I'm going to send it to Rip first. Rip, help me out here. Can you explain this phenomenon that I'm noticing? Or maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm the lunatic. Defensive backs and wide receivers wearing the bigger style mouthpiece again that cover their full mouth, lips included, and it hangs from their helmet. The problem is they're not wearing them in their mouth. Not all of Steph Curry letting them hang, which is annoying, but letting them hang like turkey necks from the front of their helmet cage, Rip. And I see it even with college quarterbacks. The quarterback for UNLV has it. Doesn't make any sense for him to have a mouthpiece like that anyway, because you're a quarterback. What are you going to do? When are you going to put that in? But he has it, and it's hanging. So I'm thinking maybe this is a new generation, Gen Z. Maybe this is a swag thing. Can you explain to me what's happening with mouthpieces being put on helmets but not being put in mouths?
I'm a 1-star. I've never stepped foot on a football field, so I can't really talk to the playing experience. But I know I see Steph Curry all the time at the free throw line with his mouthpiece out. Are you looking in between plays? Are you looking during the action? Is it one of those things where they take a break in between plays and split it out? Because I know
good question.
Something is in your mouth.
Good question. This is something I want people to just be on alert from, and it's not a bad thing. It's not a good thing. It's just I want to understand if I'm the crazy one here.
Giving the listener some homework. Look, check it out and report back. Right, watch the games this weekend and see if those mouthpieces are coming out in between plays or if they're out the whole time. Because if they're out the whole time, why even have one?
College and football. Here's a couple caveats while you're watching this. The bigger the player, the bigger the mouthpiece outage is. So if you're a big number 1 guy, if Travis Hunter's back in the game, guy never puts in his mouthpiece. I promise you that. Same goes for the NFL. You want to see the real culprits? Watch every single defensive back in the NFL. And I don't mean to call out the Bills. We've already had enough Bills slander for the wide receiving core. They've just traded away for a guy because you're trash, the whole core there pretty much. Keon Coleman, he's been seeing Rip with 2 of those hanging mouthpieces and not wearing a single one of them. Something's happening here. That's all that I'm saying. That's my peeve. You got any peeves to get off your chest?
I mean, if you want guardian cap talk and mouthpiece talk, you're at the right place. 1-star recruits for all the NFL equipment, guardian caps and mouthpieces, hot topics on the show the past few weeks.
And I'm not hating. These are just things that I notice, but they peeve me. I got real peeved. I had to walk away from my television set, Rip, watching the Dodgers Mets series because the Smile people came out to sit behind home plate, doing the Smile thing, promoting the movie. I cannot be allowed in sports. Not that the mouthpiece aligns with that too, but I can't pay attention to the football play if nobody's wearing a mouthpiece, yet they're still hanging on. I can't watch a slider on a 2-0 pitch go just outside and decide if that's a strike or how I want to feel about it. If the fucking Smile 2 kids are back there in their shirts, this is crazy land that we live in. It's crazy in Dallas. Emmett Smith on last week. Great podcast for us. Really, really love Hall of Famers. talking to us. I mean, still a hell of a thing. Dallas Cowboys, how many more years are we going to do this? Rip this little game. Jerry Jones tore up some radio hosts this morning for questioning the offseason. Cowboys got a bye week coming up. Jerry promised to get it right during the bye week. We'll see. Worst home loss in history on Jerry's 83rd birthday. Let me repeat that. 83rd birthday. Hey, Jerry, go hang out with Woody. Woody realizes that life is only a certain amount of years and then you die. You got to do something. Jerry, go talk to Woody. Hey, Woody, how's it going over there with Devontae Adams? And you're at least trying things. Oh, pretty good. Okay, not bad. Rip, is there any can Dallas Cowboys come back from this? Should fantasy owners move away from CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott?
They shouldn't, but it's going to be tough. I mean, you got coming out of the bye, you're at San Francisco, you're at Atlanta, you're home against the Eagles, you're home against the Texans, you're at the Commanders, our guy Jaden Daniels. 5 straight really tough games against probably playoff teams. It's not going to be any easier. I don't know how Mike McCarthy lasts the rest of the season. They could be looking at 3-8 by Thanksgiving.
Coaching change is so hard. You'd have to do some internal crap, and they're just like their defense on the coaching side. There's no good candidates back there. It's all a complete mess. You'd have to go find Bruce Arians. He's not in Tampa Bay. He's probably in his Nashville home or something. Find Arians. Get Bill Belichick to come peel him away from one of his podcasts. It's fun in the NFL. Things could happen. We might have some sources. For now, though, bro, we're going to stay in the suburbs of Dallas, home of the Cowboys and the Dallas Stars. Beautiful practice facility, and currently home to Aldon Smith. Enjoy this interview.
Now joining the One Star Recruits podcast, we have a father, a 6-year NFL veteran, an artist, an entrepreneur, and the founder of the Intelligent Movement platform. Aldon Smith is on with the One Star Recruits. Thanks for hopping on, Aldon.
Thanks for having me. How's everybody doing?
We're doing great. We're glad to have you here on a Wednesday, and we're going to talk about everything you're up to and where you're going from here. But for people who might not have heard your name in a while, I know you've been doing the podcast circuit a little bit this year, but can you just talk a little bit about what you're doing with the Intelligent Movement platform and really the motivation behind it?
Yeah, so the motivation behind it came from my tenure in the league and in college football and my experience, and kind of once I finished up kind of seeing how things, there was a need for things. I had a need for things. And so I was trying to figure out something that made sense, that I was passionate about and I enjoyed. And I ended up coming up with Intelligent Movement.
It's super cool, bro. It's super cool. I'm a Virgo. My boy Rip right here is a Libra. Happy birthday, actually, Rip. Is coming up this week. You got to get your birthday wishes out there. I think you're the Libra too, right, Aldon? Is that right?
I'm a Libra.
Represent. Happy birthday. Happy birthday month, fellas, to both of you guys. Actually, Aldon, Rip's birthday is this week. Now that I'm looking at the I Am Zodiac shop, I'm kind of thinking about this Libra sweater for you, Rip. The one with the moon, Aldon. What do you think? How's that one fit?
Looks good. I like how it looks. I like it. The feel is really important too, man. Like this is quality stuff. Once you put it on, you'll be able to tell the difference.
I'm a large, DK. I'm a large.
You're a large. You think my boy Rip can pull this one off, Aldon? This is cool stuff. This might be. He's 43, man. This looks like. Oh yeah, the Libra shirts. Very cool. Very cool stuff going on. Actually, you're doing some mentoring in the NFL now, which is super cool. In the rookie program, a great program. It keeps getting better and better every year. We just passed the 1-year anniversary of you getting released from a tough situation. You got out of a jail situation for 6 months in Northern California. What did you learn from that experience, and what are you passing on to some of these rooks?
From that experience, for the one thing that comes to me is just consistency and staying true to your, where you believe you're going. It's easy to get influenced in a lot of situations, and in that situation, you can get pulled this direction or that direction. And so I kind of viewed it as a test, and to see, if I was committed to the change that I was already, working on. And so if for anything, it was a chance for me to get a break and make sure I'm sure about what I want to be doing. And I feel like I've passed the test so far. And so being able to get out and talk to guys in the league, and just people in general about situations I've been in and situations that they're possibly going through, that, you never know what you have in common, and you never know how your situation can help somebody else. Because I'm not really trying to necessarily be a mentor. I'm just trying to be a guide more so, and if you want to take my hand, then take it, but I'm not here to tell you to do this or that.
Did you have days in jail where you have some time to think and you're just thinking to yourself, like coming up with a plan, like this is what I'm going to do when I get out? And part of that is kind of sharing your experiences with other people and being able to help them. Was this kind of plan kind of formulated while you were serving that time?
So before I went in, I was already kind of, intelligent movement was already something that had been thought of mine. But when I'm sitting in there and you get the age range of, you got 18 and you got 60 or 70, y'all in the same area. And you have a lot of you have a lot of opportunities to interact with people who might, want to have that dialogue. And so I was able to test it out and see, kind of, can this work or not? Because, nobody has to be, they don't have to listen to you. They're going to tell you the truth, so I was able to have conversations with some of the gentlemen I met in there. And I mean, they were getting something from it. I was getting something from it. And so that was kind of, once again, let me see if I'm good at this, and if I enjoy this, if I'm passionate about it. And I really do. I care.
It feeds the soul, helping others, man. The truth tellers in life, yeah, they're so important. I have a couple in my life. They're so important. There's a couple stories out there, Aldon, about your pops, and when you moved back with him in Missouri, he was a little disciplined, some strict, maybe some will say a tight ship, but truth teller, it sounds like definitely he was a part of that. Has that structured environment and that relationship with your pops kind of influenced who you are now and part of your mentoring, or not even mentoring, part of your leading, we'll call it, these young folks?
I learned a lot from both of my parents, and I'm grateful for them giving me the instilling the values and put me in environments where I was able to learn, what is right, what is wrong, and maybe, golden rules, and just putting me in those type of environments. But directly, as far as, me and his relationship, a lot of everything I feel like, I taught myself. I was able to learn the hard way, hitting my head and bumping my head, because it's hard for another person to tell another person something, especially if there's time where you don't have that consistency in relationship with that person. And so I'm grateful for, my parents putting me in situations where I could have that mindset.
Do you think now that you have, children, or do you think that you're a similar kind of parent that your parents were to you? Or like, is there big stuff that you changed? You said like, I'm not doing that with my kid or my kids. Like, do you think you're a similar parent to what your parents were to you, or are you a lot different?
I think it would make sense if I said I wasn't similar, just because it's DNA and it's just biological. But there's scenarios were a lot different, and if you don't know what you don't know, what you don't know. If you don't know these options are available, and if you handle things a certain way, I think anybody would try not to do that. But what I believe is the most important thing is just being available when that time comes, when your kids need you, and letting them, listening, because it's a two-way thing. And so the times I have to spend time with my son, I try to do that. I don't get to see my kid as much as I would like, but when I do, I think it's so dope because I'm going to make sure that I'm in the space I need to be when that time comes, and uh, that's what's important to me.
Yeah, that's what's up. What's something in your daily routine, Alden, that you're doing right now, mentally, physically, every day? It's a non-starter for you just to get your mind right. Is there something you're doing in the morning now? Is there something you'd recommend to others just to get their day started to get that mindset in a place of love and giving?
I'm trying to figure out the best way to answer that because it's one of those things where it's not something that I need to get right. I try to do the things consistently to make sure that I stay in the right, like continue where I'm going. So I think if anything, it's a pattern of checking in with myself, being honest with myself about where I'm at, how I'm doing, and those days that are good, give myself gratitude, for having that experience. Those days that it's bad, acknowledge that it's bad, and then just being aware.
It's huge. It's huge. That's one of the things I struggle with. And then people would say get into meditation or 10,000 steps. And I think that's what we're looking for. When I think you're talking about cracking the code on something else, it's loving yourself, it's being comfortable within that skin.
Because the ways that I believe we've been taught or think on how to change something, those don't really seem to work for a lot of people. And I think you have to be realistic about your day, your life, and understand like things are going to happen. It's when they happen, you have to explore other avenues of how to handle the situation. Because most of the time we only think we can have this emotion, that emotion, and then we do whatever we think is correct when there's other options that are available.
They're always out there. There's a couple events, bro. There's a stabbing, there's a car accident. You reflect on that stuff in your 20s. Do you feel lucky to be alive, Aldon?
I don't know if lucky is the word. I just believe I'm excited that I found my purpose. I'm excited that I get to use the things that I enjoy doing, that I've been blessed with to let others see, and really get to see, who I am. So I'm excited about that.
Amazing. Thank you. Appreciate that, man.
Alden, we end every interview with the segment we call 1 star to 5 star. We mentioned it. We're the 1 stars, the 1 star recruits, but we're trying to get better with advice and tips from every guest we have on this podcast, like yourself. So I want to ask you a few questions that run the gamut on a 1 to 5 star scale. You ready?
Yep.
All right. There's a guy you came into the league with who about your age and still getting some sacks here and there. It's Von Miller. He's now with the Buffalo Bills, and you guys had a friendship in the past. I'm not sure if it's still going on, but you went through a lot of the same things together at the same time early in your career, and I think you kind of bonded over that. What would you say is like the 5 star quality of a friendship like that, where you just form a bond early and it lasts?
Authenticity. You guys both leaving your egos at the door, and just that's how friendships work.
It makes sense because not many people went through the same kind of stuff as you guys did at that age. So it makes sense that would work out. Speaking of football too, some younger guys, let's call them the 5 stars, a couple defensive ends that you love watching on Sundays these days. I'm not sure how much football you watch, but who are a couple that you kind of have your eye on that you think could be great for a long time?
First name that comes to my mind was Aiden Hutchinson. And I hate that he got hurt. But that's the first name that just popped up as soon as you said that. Because I've watched him since he was at Michigan. Alden,
what makes him so good, able to get by? Is it his motor? As I see his motor. Do you see any other things that make him so he has that Joey Bosa, that ability? Is there something that I should watch for when he's healthy again that I'm not seeing now?
I enjoy how he shows up. I don't when I do watch football, I notice what I notice, right? And so the times I've seen Detroit play and the times I watch Michigan, or just that day I'm watching football, he pops up and he's doing his thing. And so that's the reason I said I don't necessarily know how he rushes or his techniques, but as far as when I watch, I'm like, okay, I want to see how he does.
Kind of, I think the same feeling that people had when they watched you back in the day. The last one, I want to close it out. There's always so much talk about your past, but for us, the future is the most important part. We talked about it a little before, but when you look ahead at where you want to be, what does your 5-star life look like 5 years from now?
That I'm alive and healthy, and that I'm making people smile, and just I'm still progressing. There's still progression.
5-year plan, man. I love
5-year
it.
plan. And you know why we got you here? We got our guy Stanga in the Bay Area, and a couple people knew we are gonna have you on from the Bay, Aldon. And I gotta say, man, you really put some smiles, and you played so hard. You were one of the top players to watch. I was in the Bay Area at the time, man. So we all want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts there. You were one of the best to do it when you were doing it there. So I want to thank you there.
I appreciate it. And I definitely want to say a shout out to the Bay, because that's home for me. I will be back someday. But I just definitely, the Bay is close to my heart. So thank you all too.
Putting smiles on people's faces in a different way now. We love it. And everyone can go follow you at Aldon Smith on Instagram. Everything else you want to find is at intelligentmovement.co, and you can go shopping for those Libra designs at iamzodiac.com. Aldon, man, we're glad to see you happy. Good luck down in Texas with everything, and thank you again for coming on with the One Star Recruits.
Sure thing. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
From Emmitt Smith to Aldon Smith, DK, both former Cowboys. I promise next week we won't have another Smith on or a former Cowboy. But I do want to talk about this because you brought it up earlier, and we talked with Aldon about the zodiac signs. I'm a Libra. I got a birthday coming up tomorrow. I don't like to talk about it, but you brought it up. I have no idea. People are asking me what I want for my birthday. Are we too old for gifts? I can't think of anything I need or want, because if I wanted something, I'd go out and buy it myself. I'm kind of tired of answering the question, what do you want for your birthday?
The simple things in life's always the answer. The small things, always. My mind immediately goes when that question gets poised. And right now, even in this situation, I would want my favorite sandwich. I would like a slice of my favorite type of cake or pie. Maybe an hour of solitude to watch something that I want to watch. That's it. Is that too much to ask for?
No, I kind of just want to say I want a jumbo box of Cheez-Its from Costco.
Let's go.
That's
one. Okay, let's do.
It's
number
right
one sandwich. Sandwich order. Go. Cheez-Its and sandwich. Go ahead. What is it?
Probably the Madison Bumgarner from Ike's, to be honest.
Mad Bum from Ike's with a side of Cheez-Its. What type of cake or pie are you going for your own dessert?
I mean, readily available. It's my favorite pie on earth, and this is the time of year. It's pumpkin pie with Cool Whip.
Pumpkin pie with Cool Whip already stacked on the shelves. Rip, this is doable. Record this and clip this. Somebody get this to your household immediately. And lastly, you get an hour to yourself of solitude. Where are you sitting? In your garage? Are you with your phone? Are you going to do a TV? Are you going to do sports? Are you going to scroll? You're going to sleep? You have an hour. What are you doing?
It's going to be an uninterrupted hour of watching NFL. It's what it always is. That's always the request.
Thursday night, you have a Thursday night game of the ages, of Broncos Saints, throwback game, Broncos Saints. So I want to switch over to NBA because I'm really, really excited. I know you haven't shifted over, Rip. You're a big baseball guy now, manager. You're leading Little League in stolen bases. Everybody knows what's happening. You're too busy for preseason NBA. Things are happening, though. Gary in Phoenix knows. Phoenix Suns might have gotten a steal in the draft. We might have done it, Rip. I'm not getting too excited. I'm staying very chill about this because we always miss on these types of guys. What types of guys are you talking about, Dana? Guys like Draymond Green, guys like, even I'm going to say the Joker just to get people excited, but dudes like that, we never find them in the draft where they're actually better than what we thought they could be. Ryan Dunn, DUNN, 500level.com. You can get a t-shirt already. 6'7", great defender in college. Already a built-in great defender. This is what we got. This is what we were drafting. Great defender. Cool, great defender. Come on over. Herb Jones style defender even. Rip. And guess what? Guess what happened? Something happened. He got sprinkled with something. He had some rolled tacos at Amato's. Maybe he took a dip in Tempe Town Lake. Something happened because he can score now in 4 preseason games. 12 from 27 from 3. That's not like crazy numbers, but in the NBA, it's kind of crazy numbers. He's added the most important thing, not only for the NBA, but for the Phoenix Suns team, a team that has had no guys to ever hit open threes. Sorry, Grayson Allen, who can do this, but you're still being guarded. Now this is on the radar. Another guy who can possibly hit wide open threes for us, Rip. Why am I so excited? Why is DK getting all excited? And I know I got excited about Kyler Murray after his first home game. And this is what we do as sports fans. So it's okay. But as a rookie, Rip, I'm going to say it here on this podcast, Ryan Dunn, get your t-shirt now, become a fan. He could be one of the better 3-and-D guys in the league. He could be. He could be this elite role player, and I'm manifesting this into reality, but this is the reality when you have guys who are 6'7" who can defend and also shoot. This is reality. An elite role player can change the whole landscape of a almost high caliber championship team. It's always the missing pieces and the teams that don't make it. See the Denver Nuggets. Mike Budenholzer's going to have this team humming. He's the right guy. If the bench and Grayson can lock in, they're deep. Rip, we have a top 3 team in the West. Nurkic is even shooting threes, and I'm not excited about Nurkic. We're pushing him aside because he's like, he can even be normal Nurkic, and it's still, things are happening if guys like Ryan Dunn, 500level.com, Tyus Jones, 500level.com, a real point guard now, a real point guard, so rare. They're so rare. And now around the pieces that you already know that we don't even have to talk about. Suns have the best depth in years. Am I too excited, Rip? Talk me off the ledge or hop on with me. Hop on. Let's take this thing to the Salt River, man. Hop on.
Call me on Christmas morning. You're drinking way too much preseason Kool-Aid. I think you got a lot of time on your hands to look at a 4-0 preseason team and have good thoughts about it. Which is fine. It's time for optimism, but call me when December hits. Call me in May. See where we're at. I'm not buying it yet. Let me see him do it during the regular season.
Wake me up before December ends. Life's good. Sometimes bad. 1-star moments, Rip. What do you got going on? What's your 1-star moment of the week?
My 1-star moment, DK, it was a bad one. We drove 9 hours to Lake Tahoe for a wedding. Beautiful wedding. That wasn't the bad part. But the bad part, my wife was sick for the whole trip. The only reason we didn't cancel the trip, I said on this podcast a few weeks ago, you never miss a wedding or a funeral, even if you're sick. You got to go to them. And also, it was one of her best friends from college, goes back about 20 years. But the bottom line is we stayed about 2 hours at the wedding. We bailed from the wedding reception at 7:30. I think it went till midnight. We left at 7:30. We drove 9 hours back on Sunday with my wife coughing the whole way. It turns out she went to the doctor yesterday. She has pneumonia. Terrible, terrible illness, pneumonia. Hopefully getting a little better this week. But it was really a 1-star trip, 1-star moment. Went up there for 3 nights. And yeah, I mean, we had to do it because I'm never missing one of those things. But just a 1-star trip all around.
It's crazy driving 18 hours. You could have got to Australia. You did all that driving. Rip loves to drive, listeners, in case you don't notice already. It's a lot, though. Any good stops? Any good gas station or food stops? Any good sandwiches or burgers that you had? At least you can save the trip with.
The one bright moment of the road trip was actually stopping at Anderson's Pea Soup. You know, there's one in Santanella and one in Buellton. We hadn't eaten there in a few years, but you got to love the pea soup. The kids love it. The kids love the fries there. They got a little store. They can buy candy. So, yeah, that was the one shining moment of that trip.
Anderson's, you love it or hate it. That's a black licorice of places. People either love that place or hate it. Well, sorry, it's a bummer, but way to knock it out, Rip. You're a good driver. 1-star moment of the week for me. I mean, it really consists of a handful of things. At the end of the day, I haven't seen a lot of humans now. I'm going on 9 days here. So the ranch cleared out for me in here in Hawaii, which is always great. Now I can run around. I do all my exercise. I got a whole system set up on all this property because there's no other people out here. But not seeing another human does have its downfalls socially. You got to get those social reps in sometimes. So thank you, Rip, for this wonderful Wednesday social rep for me. Always great to talk to you, kick around some of this stuff, talk to Aldon, talk to these people over podcasting. But just, I got to mix it up a little bit more, especially when I'm not mixing up with at least the people on property. I mean, give me 5 to 6 human interactions a week. I think I'm okay. I think that's a healthy limit, 5 to 6. What do you think you're in, Rip? Your human interactions a week, ballpark? You in the 30 to 40 range?
Gotta be. I mean, between work, youth sports, school, podcasting, everything. Yeah, if not more. It's probably too much for me. I need a healthy balance between where you're at and where I'm at. But yeah, I live in a big city with a lot going on. So yeah, it's up there.
Take down, pull back. Shit, grass always greener for motherfuckers. You want to come hang out with DK? They'll come out to Hawaii. It's beautiful right now. The rest of the country is starting to get real shitty, except for the Southwest. This is when the Southwest gets real good. But hey, we're holding shape. Bubbling breaking news. There could be some rumblings of a relocation of a new city coming to you. Stay tuned. I'm not going to break any news. I'm not in any hurries to leave or go anywhere else, but stay tuned for the future. Recommendations of the week. Anything that we loved that we're going to recommend, we're going to throw. You know what recs mean. Recommendations. I have a huge winner. This needs to be a do not buy at my house, not because it makes my tummy feel bad, but because I could eat a whole box of these if they're here at my house. I've been introduced to these thing called Muddy Bites. You know what Muddy Bites are, Rip?
Never heard of them.
Muddy Bites. You know what they are. It's the waffle cone and milk chocolate bottom of one of those cones. What do you call those ice cream cones you used to get from the ice cream man?
Drumsticks.
Drumstick. Thank you, Rip. I knew it had a name. Thank you. Winston has it up. Big vanilla ice cream fan. Winston. It's the bottom of the drumstick, but not in the bottom of the drumstick that we know, because that one kind of sucks. You know why they put the chocolate in the bottom of that thing, Rip?
So you have a reward at the end?
Not the answer. So it doesn't sog through, the ice cream doesn't melt and sog through the bottom of the cone, and you have those little mini drips, which if you have kids, you know the mini drips are the worst thing. So that was the solution there. However, this Muddy Bites company has taken it to the next level. They've made these delicious waffle cone minis. So they're minis. Pop them. You could eat these as a bowl of damn cereal. They kind of remind me of Cookie Crisp a little bit in size, but totally different product, different things. But that's what they are, filled with milk chocolate. They're wonderful. Muddy Bites. Put them on your shopping list. I think that's a Trader Joe's Costco thing. Muddy Bites. What do you got, bro?
All right, mine is this has been known for a while, but I just recently discovered it, so I'm going to put it out there. DK, I think you were about 10 years old in 1990, 91. There's a Mark Jackson NBA hoops card. Very common card. Mark Jackson was a point guard for the New York Knicks at the time. But there's something interesting about this card. Do you know what it is? Have you heard this story?
Oh yeah, I know the story. Go ahead.
The Menendez brothers are in the background of this card. The photo on the card, Mark Jackson's dishing out one of his patented assists. The Menendez brothers, Eric and Lyle Menendez, convicted murderers of their parents, they're sitting courtside at Madison Square Garden in the background of this card. Someone discovered it in 2018. I just found out about it, but the crazy thing is, because of that Menendez documentary, the cards kind of had a little resurgence. And if you get a graded card, a 9 or 10, you can get over $1,000 for that thing, for that Mark Jackson 1990-91 NBA hoops card. It's a very common card. I guarantee I have at least 4 of them in my attic. So if you go check your attic, it might be worth getting them graded and trying to sell that thing, because the story goes that the Menendez brothers, sometimes between when they killed their parents in 1988 and when this card came out in 1990, they went on a shopping spree. And part of that was that they bought courtside tickets at Madison Square Garden. And that's how the story comes together. They're in the background of that card randomly. It's a crazy thing.
This is all very true. This is all very true. The golden ticket on this particular card is to actually get a prime card in prime condition, so graded at whatever that is, and actually have it autographed by Mark Jackson and the brothers. I don't know if that's been done yet. That's the chase, though.
You got any of those in your closet, in your attic, or at your parents' house, or you think you're going to offer on that one?
I don't think so. I need to look into it. Now you mentioned it again. Could be a fun game, though, to look in crowds of courtside folks and try to get their autograph on that card with the player's autograph. Maybe we just discovered a nice little niche market that didn't exist fully before. You got to dig deep into all your Don Russes. and all your Flair Ultras, but you could find some other connections there. I know the Billy Crystals exist and whatnot, but trying to think of some that might be hotter. That Jessica Alba, Baron Davis cards out there somewhere. There's some hot cards out there. Rips Reacts, hit the music. The NFC North Rips become the toast of the town. First division since 2002 to have all 4 teams with 4 wins moving in the right direction. A Super Bowl could come out of the NFC North, Rip. Which team would you place a bet on?
I got to go Lions, even with the Aiden Hutchinson news. They're probably going to sign someone. Maybe they bring Sue back. Who knows? Maybe they trade for Von Miller, like you mentioned. But that offense cannot be stopped. I still don't believe in Minnesota as much. I think it goes Lions, Packers, Vikings, Bears when it's all said and done.
Like to see the Vikings get a good backup running back. Not sure Aaron Jones could be our guy the whole way. I'm taking the Vikings, though. Taking the Vikings. Believe in Sam Darnold from Southern California. Believe in that guy. NBC Rip up like crazy. Basically, from the Oregon-Ohio State game. Largest TV audience for Big Ten primetime matchup since 2008. That crowd was next level. That was a fabulous, really great football game. Our guy Rossi from Shooting 2 was in the crowd at the game. Third quarter. Every big college football team does something to get the crowd pumped, keeps it going. Here at Oregon, they do the Animal House song. You know, get a little bit louder now, a little bit softer now, a little bit of that going on, Rip. I think it's okay, but I feel like the song could do better. And I want to implement, I'm going to see if you're going to say it, but I think this is a big opportunity for you to pitch your favorite song of all time to Oregon. I think they'd get the crowd much more pumped up.
I think that song by Eminem, Lose Yourself, would get any stadium pumped up. You and I have personally been to Camp Randall in Madison, Wisconsin when they played Jump Around by House of Pain in between the third and fourth quarters, and the stadium literally shakes. I think Lose Yourself could do the same thing almost anywhere, possibly even Detroit.
Detroit needs to own that one. I'm not talking about that one. I think they need to take on T.I.'s epic song and your favorite wedding song. Go ahead, give us a line from it.
Oh yeah, bring them out, bring them out.
That's what I would like to see there. You want to get it going? Bump, bump, bump. Bring them out. You want to get everybody going? They can't hear you. You know what I mean? Any song where they can't hear you, you know, and then bring them on out. Think about it. Fourth quarter. Oregon, great game though. You got to get down. You got to know your clock management, huh? The crowd played a big part of that win. And you can't hear shit. Or you can't feel shit. The crowd's right in your face. You're going to make mistakes like that. That was an awesome game. Matt Stafford, Rip, Rams quarterback. He's actually getting a lot of praise because he made an appearance on Fox NFL pregame show talking shit during the bye week. How disappointed they are. How really things are just dissipating for the Rams quicker than expected. It's like origami paper going into a river. Things are just dissipating, and he was very clear and honest about it. Rip, if Matthew Stafford is on the Arizona Cardinals and has Marvin Harris Jr., is Marvin Harrison Jr. just having a way better season? And are the Cardinals a way better team? Should the Cardinals go back to a Stafford a la Kurt Warner, Carson Palmer, or Joe Flacco?
I think it's time, and I think you'll see that if they get a high draft pick, they're probably going to use it this year on a quarterback, at least maybe a second rounder. But if there's a top tier guy in the draft, they're not going to pass him up this year because Matthew Stafford targets his best guys relentlessly, and I think Kyler's not doing that. So I think it'd be a definite change. But yeah, I think you're going to see the Cardinals if they especially if they go like 6-11 again, they're gonna make a move there, I believe.
While you're watching mouthpieces in the NFL, keep your eyes open for Marvin Harrison Jr. Watch him just on his release from the line of scrimmage. Don't watch the ball. Don't watch the running backs. Don't watch Connor. Watch him. He's getting separation every single play. Last one. Taco Bell captivating the world with its new app. You can plug in the amount of money you have in your pocket. DK has $6. From that, it will use AI to pull from its many menu items of what I can get with $6. Kind of cool, Rip. The cooler part is, guess what? If I don't like that first option, swipe left, just like Tinder. You can go hundreds of thousands of options till you find the exact combo that you want on the Taco Bell app. could change the complete game of ordering food anywhere, Rip. Are you going to download the app and give it a go? This sounds like it's right up your alley.
I will not. I have zero room for any more apps. I'm maxed out. Every second of my life is booked and scheduled at this point. But it sounds like something for someone who has some time on their hands. I think it would be interesting.
Sounds like something you want to keep your kids interested in the back of the car. You need 45 minutes to kill, and they got to think about dinner. Lace them up, bro. We'll be back next week.
See you next week.